Hi everyone, welcome again. So in this video, we will continue our discussion on the auto-wired annotation and we'll see some specific case related to the auto-wiring. So here the project remains almost the same. What I have done in the DAO package, I created a new interface DAO, and then the existing user DAO is now implementing the same interface. So the method has been changed to fetch, which is printing fetching users. This is user DAO. And then I added a new employee DAO which is also implementing the same interface, and in the fetch method it is printing fetching employees. So we have an interface and then two implementations in the project, and now we want to inject one of these dependencies, one of these implementations to user service, which is often the case. Often we have an interface, multiple implementations, and then we may want to inject one of them somewhere, and sometimes we get a conflict, and that's what we are going to see in this example. So in the user service, instead of auto-varying the user DAO directly, because we are coding to super type, the best practice is to always use the interface or the super type so that we are not dependent on the concrete implementation. So instead of injecting user service directly, we are now trying to auto-vary the super type DAO, and then we are calling DAO.fetch. So this name could be anything. This is simply the name of variable. So now if we run the program, this time we get an error because it says that expected single matching bean but found two, employee DAO and user DAO. So we are trying to auto-wire using the interface, and it says it cannot find a single interface because it found two matching beans. User DAO and employee DAO both are implementing the same interface, so it cannot understand which one to inject here. And that is often the case, the error that we get. To resolve this error, we will use another annotation which is called qualifier. What qualifier says that in such cases, you can assign a unique identifier to a bean, and then you can refer that bean using that identifier to resolve the conflict or to resolve the ambiguity. So in this case, I can use qualifier annotation on this class and give it a name. So let's say this is user, related to user. Now it can be anything. So we are using the qualifier annotation and gave it a name user. Similarly, we can go to the employee DAO, give it another name employee. Now in the user service where we are auto varying or injecting the DAO implementation, we can provide a hint to IOC container that, hey, yes, I want to inject this dependency. But if you find a conflict, then use this qualifier to resolve the conflict. So we are essentially saying that although I am referring to the super type, in this case interface, but get me the bean whose qualifier is user. So IOC container will see there are two implementations of this interface, but this is the bean which has the same qualifier that we passed. So it will inject user DAO to user service. Now if we run the same program, we see there is no error, and we see the message fetching users, which is coming from the user DAO here. And in the same way, we can inject employee DAO as well. So we can simply give it a try in the same class, although we don't have to do that, but just to showcase the example, just to showcase the use of qualifier. So here is another object of type DAO, but this time I'm saying the qualifier is employee. And in this method, I can say DAO1.fetch, and we can run the program. Okay, so we get this error cannot invoke this because this DAO1 is null. So we use the qualifier but not the auto-valid. Without using AutoVAD, Spring will not inject the employee DAO here, and that's why DAO1 was null. So rerun the same program. And this time we see both the messages, fetching users and fetching employees. So we saw what is the purpose of qualifier, what kind of problem can arise in this situation, and how to use qualifier to resolve the conflict. All right. Thanks for watching.